Are you ready for the most grounded, factual, and significant Iraqi dinar update you have probably heard in a long time? Today, we are not going to talk about flying rumors, fake news, or artificial clickbait that just plays on your emotions. Instead, we are going to dive deep into the concrete on-ground facts, the latest 2026 data, and the real financial developments that are rapidly transforming Iraq's economy and the Central Bank of Iraq right at this very moment. If you have been holding the dinar for a long time and you truly want to know what is actually happening behind the scenes without the exaggerated hype, then this video is specifically for you. We are going to talk about the central bank's strict upcoming July 2026 cashless deadline, the massive billions of dollars in foreign investment pouring into the development road megaproject, and the jaw-dropping reality of Iraq's current gold reserves. We are going to get straight to the point without any delay. If you appreciate this honest, factual, and non-nonsense approach to the news, please hit that like button and make sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts. So let's kick things off with the most substantial piece of news that is permanently changing the landscape of the Iraqi banking system right in front of our eyes. The Central Bank of Iraq has officially set a firm and incredibly strict deadline, and that deadline is July 2026. By this date, cash payments will be entirely eliminated across all government institutions and state facilities. Yes, you heard that absolutely right. Zerg Musa, the director of non-banking financial institutions at the CBI, has made it abundantly clear that the electronic payment framework is not just an idea anymore. It is fully ready and is actively being implemented across the entire nation. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is directly supervising this massive transition. Right now, the Iraqi Ministry of Interior has already halted cash transactions 100%, moving everything strictly to digital systems. According to the latest reports, trillions of dinars are now flowing through electronic systems rather than being physically exchanged by hand on the streets. You have to understand that this is not a small feat. We are talking about a country where for years the general public simply did not trust the banks, choosing instead to hoard their cash and savings inside their homes. But things are changing at a blistering pace. Point-of-sale machines and ATMs have completely doubled across the country. In just the third quarter of last year alone, retail electronic payments crossed the 3 trillion dinar mark. The aggressive digitalization strategy here has a very clear and obvious goal to completely suck the physical paper dinar out of the street markets, heavily control the monetary liquidity, and make the entire Iraqi economy transparent and fully compliant with US Treasury and international banking standards. Just think about it logically for a second. It is only when the physical dinar returns to the banking vaults and every single transaction can be digitally tracked that the true demand, value, and stability of the currency can be presented to the global financial world. Now let's seamlessly transition into another massive real-world development that is indirectly but powerfully pushing the intrinsic value of the dinar skyward. I am talking about Iraq's famous development road project. Let me be clear. This is not just some standard infrastructure project. This is a master plan designed to turn Iraq into the absolute premier economic hub of the entire Middle East. This is an estimated $17 to $20 billion mega project that will connect the Grand Alpha port, which is rapidly on its way to becoming the largest port in the region, directly to Turkey and onward to Europe via a network of modern railways and high-speed highways. Right now, major regional players like Turkey, the UAE, and Qatar are heavily involved as strategic financiers, pouring their sovereign wealth into this vision. And if you think this is just old news or plans on paper, let me give you the latest update from right here in February 2026. Recently, a massive international business forum was held in Baghdad, where top Iraqi officials officially announced that foreign and private investment in the country has successfully crossed the 100 billion mark. Massive international corporations from all over the globe are securing contracts to build new ports, roads, telecommunications networks, submarine data cables, and vast energy sector upgrades inside Iraq. When you have that level of astronomical foreign capital flowing into a nation's soil, the international demand and respect for that country's currency automatically begins to rise. Iraq is making it very clear that they no longer want to rely solely on oil revenues. They are physically building a bridge for global trade. And in order to facilitate all of these massive international contracts and daily corporate transactions smoothly, they desperately need a strong, stable, and globally recognized currency. All of these concrete developments are working together to force the dinar into a highly advanced modern phase of its existence. But we also know that for an economy to truly stabilize and for a currency to gain real strength, relying on foreign investment alone is never enough. A country's internal reserves must be incredibly strong. And in this specific area, the practical steps the Central Bank of Iraq has taken over the recent period are nothing short of phenomenal. Amar Khalif, the deputy governor of the central bank, has publicly confirmed that Iraq's physical gold reserves have now surged to a staggering 170 tons. Just a short while ago, they were sitting at roughly 70 tons. They have accumulated gold from the international markets at such an aggressive speed that today Iraq ranks as the fourth largest gold holder in the entire Arab world and the 29th largest in the entire world. This 170 tons of physical gold now makes up a solid 20% of the CBI's total assets. Alongside this, another incredibly positive piece of news is that Iraq's foreign currency reserves, heavily weighted in US dollars, are currently being smoothly maintained at over 100 billion. Now, I want you to apply some basic macroeconomics here. When you have a country that possesses this enormous amount of physical gold, holding over $100 billion in liquid foreign reserves and acting as a magnet for multi-billion-dollar international investments, do you honestly believe that the purchasing power and value of their currency will remain where it currently is on the parallel street market in the long term? Absolutely not. These are the solid, authentic, undeniable fundamentals that build the foundation of a strong currency. When paper money has this level of physical metallic backing and foreign reserve support, international financial markets and foreign investors automatically develop a deep, undeniable confidence in that asset. It is precisely this growing confidence in economic stability that has sparked a very serious internal discussion regarding currency reform, specifically the process known as removing the zeros from the exchange rate and the physical notes. Inside the CBI and among top financial circles, there is a serious active consideration to delete the zeros from the Iraqi currency. The primary goal here is to drastically reduce the sheer physical burden and accounting nightmare that banks and businesses face when handling cash. Now, I want to be incredibly clear and honest with you right here, so that we don't create any false hope or misunderstanding. CBI officials have repeatedly stated in public that the actual purpose of removing the zeros is to bring long-term stability to the economy. This highly technical process is not some magic button that will create an overnight millionaire scenario or a sudden rate change that disrupts their hard-earned economic stability. Their main priority is keeping inflation strictly controlled and making daily accounting infinitely easier for local business owners. However, if you look at financial history and deeply understand how emerging markets work, dropping the zeros only ever happens when a country's economy has fully stabilized and their currency is completely ready to integrate into the global financial system. The very fact that this project is being discussed at the ground level is the biggest proof we have that Iraq is in the absolute final stages of its financial transition. The process of removing the zeros and the strict July 2026 cashless deadline are deeply and intricately connected. It is only when the digital dinar flows completely through the banking system and all the large denomination physical notes currently in the hands of the public are returned to the central bank's vaults that introducing new, smaller denomination notes without zeros becomes practically possible and economically safe. Another massive factor that is actively driving market sentiment and the ground value of the dinar right now is the ongoing battle against the parallel black market and the strict compliance demands of the US Treasury. For the past few years, the official dollar rate and the street rate in Iraq were operating on completely different wavelengths, causing severe frustration for everyday citizens and small investors alike. But now in 2026, the incredibly tough measures taken by the CBI, working hand in hand with the U.S. Federal Reserve to stop money laundering and illicit cross-border dollar smuggling, are showing undeniable practical results. Through the SWIFT system Every single cross-border transaction is now being monitored with microscopic precision. Many local banks that previously failed to follow these rules strictly were sanctioned and completely kicked out of the dollar auction system. Yes, in the short term, this looked like a painful move and caused a slight shortage of dollars on the street. But looking at the long-term macroeconomic picture, this was an extremely necessary financial surgery that simply had to happen. If Iraq truly wants to bring its economy up to international standards and transform its dinar into a globally tradable and respected currency, they had to clean house. And they are successfully doing exactly that. Today, every electronic transfer, every major trade invoice, and every letter of credit inside Iraq is completely transparent. This newfound transparency is giving incoming foreign investors the absolute confidence that their capital is safe within the Iraqi system. And remember, when foreign investors bring billions of dollars into Iraq to build their projects, they need local dinar to pay for domestic expenses, materials, and salaries. This creates a massive, natural, organic demand for the dinar, which will eventually and positively impact its intrinsic value and exchange rate over time. So when we weave all of these real, authentic facts together to form a complete picture, the future looks incredibly bright and clearer than ever before. I know that everyday retail investors who wake up every morning checking their screens waiting for that magical exchange rate jump are exhausted by this lengthy process. It is easy to feel like nothing is happening behind the scenes and that it's all just talk. But in reality, at the institutional and governmental level, more practical progress is happening right now than we have seen in the last 20 years combined. A country that was plagued by war, destruction, and corruption for decades is today successfully operating a fully integrated digital banking system and point-of-sale network. Today, they are physically building a $17 billion development road. Today, they hold 170 tons of solid gold and 100 billion in liquid reserves in their accounts. Today, they have firmly committed to making all state and government institutions 100% cashless by July 2026. My friends, these are not empty announcements or trivial updates. These are the unmistakable blazing signs of a massive economic rebirth and the beginning of a completely new era. None of us know if that magical shift in the rate will happen tomorrow, next month, or in the latter half of 2026. No honest YouTuber or so-called expert can give you an exact date and rate, but what I can tell you with absolute confidence, backed by verified on-ground data, is that Iraq's financial infrastructure has now reached the point of no return. Going back to the old, isolated cash hoarding system is completely impossible. They have stepped onto a new path, and this path leads permanently towards genuine economic freedom, total transparency, and ultimately the global respect the dinar deserves. My goal has always been to bring you information and news that is 100% fact-based and tied to real-world sources. There are so many sensational stories and fake audio clips floating around the internet designed purely to play on your emotions for views having absolutely nothing to do with ground reality. But if you are a fundamentally strong and smart investor, you need to ignore that short-term fake hype and focus your attention on these real long-term developments. Institutional money, foreign infrastructure investment, and the CBI's massive banking digitization. These are the three strong pillars that will define the actual future of the DNR. And all three of these pillars are fully active and operational on the ground right now. You just need to have patience, focus on your daily life, and stay connected to the right information. I am personally monitoring all of these macro updates very closely, keeping a 24/7 watch on the CBI's new dollar platforms and the massive foreign contracts attached to the development road. As soon as any major officially verified and solid news breaks, I promise you that I will be the first to share it with you on this channel with total honesty. I hope you enjoyed this factual, detailed, and deep analytical breakdown today, and I hope it helped clear up a lot of the questions you might have had in your mind. If you received genuine value from this video, or if you simply appreciate this no-nonsense, realistic approach, please make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family who hold the dinar, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a vital update or a piece of real news. I would love to hear from you in the comments section. What are your personal thoughts on this strict July 2026 cashless deadline and the rapidly growing gold reserves? Do you believe, like I do, that this is all purely a pre-planned preparation for a massive upcoming financial and currency shift? Please speak your mind freely. I always love reading your comments and engaging with you all down there. Please take great care of yourselves and everyone around you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for spending this long and valuable time with me and for being a part of this important discussion. I will see you in the next video with another solid, real, and honest update. Until then, peace and aloha.